What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. The eye is feeling a little better, but still having a bit of a cold, so sorry if my voice still sounds a little bit wrong, awkward. Well, I can still hit it like normally, but it doesn't feel normal. Anyway, let me show you what I'm going to do today. So today's a leg day. Very excited, because yesterday was a rest day. You know, not the most exciting days, but a leg day is always amazing. So before starting the leg day itself, the workout, I always do fasted cardio. Yesterday on a rest day I did 60 minutes, now I'll do 40 minutes. And to burn as much fat as possible, I take acetyl L-carnitine. This helps liberate fatty acids and to help them burn during the cardio session, because it will be a waste not to burn as much fat as possible during those intense, well, not intense, but you know, fasted cardio session. It's still a lot of time that it takes. And also I drink 1 to 2 liters of water with Hydra Surge. Now, this is called Hydra Surge, a fancy name, but all it really is electrolytes, coconut powder, you know, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, all of those you need to stay hydrated. Man, this is just annoying, this coldness feeling. So I'm gonna put it all in the shaker cup, drink it during the cardio. And also, this is always a secret ingredient, some Himalayan pink salt. The pinkness of this salt tells you there's not only sodium in there, but also other minerals. So that combination is amazing. And after that, I'll have my breakfast, which I'm looking forward to. But let's right now go to Iron Gym in Cancun and have a nice cardio session there. Right guys, I'm doing 20 minutes on the elliptical and then 20 minutes on the treadmill. I don't want to make this cardio session too intense because I'll be having breakfast and then do the leg day. So I don't want to deplete the glycogen in my legs too much before hitting legs. So this is just low intensity cardio to burn the maximum amount of fat. And that's what we're doing. So yeah, let's do this. Alrighty, just got back home, 40 minutes of cardio, drank some more water and made my breakfast. Let me show you. Kaboom! As you can see, we have some cream of rice, strawberries, dark chocolate, and of course, whey isolate. And look at that. A whey isolate that looks and tastes so delicious. Grass-fed, meaning there is, you know, it's a clean source of whey isolate, so no contaminants. Amazing macros, lots of protein, minimal amounts of fat. And you can look at that. Total carbs 1 gram, fat 0.5, and protein 25. So that's why it's an isolate, because it isolated out all those other things you don't need. So let's enjoy. Okay guys, I'm about to work out and do some legs wearing the old school oversized tee, of course, available on vintagegenetics.com. But before the workout, we are going to have a pre-workout. And this is it right here, Pro Series. So this is the most extreme pre-workout in terms of the ingredient profile for all-around focus, energy, and stimulants, of course, to make sure you get the most out of a workout like a leg workout. And look at the size of this scoop. That means that there's a lot of ingredients in here that are clinically dosed, guys. So we're gonna take a full scoop, put it in here. Just a little bit more, Put it in there, watermelon flavor. And we're also gonna combine that with acetyl L-carnitine to make sure we burn even more fat during the workout, because why not? The workout burns calories, and you want the most calories to come from the from the fatty acids by using this. Intra-workout will also only be using EAA Surge, no more carbs, because my coach Stefan told me, well, it's time to go to the next level, so no carbs in intra-workout, just some EAAs and a little bit of salt, and that's going to be it for the pre and intra-workout. But also, in the last bottle of pre-workout, intra-workout shake, I'll put in again some Hydra Surge to make sure I stay hydrated all throughout the workout. And also guys, don't forget to use code Wesley for 20% off all of those supplements I just showed you. And then it is time for the workout itself, starting with the Adductor Machine. Now, not every gym has this machine. For example, our own gym doesn't have this machine because we have to choose, priorities, of course. And this machine only can do one thing. But if your gym does have it, I would definitely recommend doing this exercise at least once a week. Even though this one has been made popular by a lot of female athletes or just gym goers, which, they used to do this for years and years before it became popular with the guys. Trust me, if you do this exercise correctly, so full range of motion, going to failure, pause reps, squeezing the adductors together, then you will make those inner thighs grow. And that is exactly what I need from the front and from the back, especially from the back. The hamstrings and the quads are actually not that weak, but it's the inner thighs that, if they are a little too small and create that gap in between the legs, that's when your legs could look thinner than they actually are. So my tip to you, make those adductors grow with an isolation movement like this. And then, of course, another very important movement, the seated leg curl. I've told you guys many times before, if you have the choice between doing the seated and the laying leg curl, always go for the seated one. Hence, if it allows for a full stretch. Because the fact that you start from a stretched position is what makes this exercise superior to any other leg curl, because the bigger and deeper the stretch is of the hamstrings, the more growth stimulus they will experience. So the first working set is nice and heavy, making sure to hit full range of motion. So go all the way up, feel that stretch, and then go all the way down. Feel that contraction, and you'll feel a lot of blood rushing into those hamstrings. And by the way, the reason why I'm doing this also early on in the workout is not only because my hamstrings can always be bigger, so I want to prioritize them by putting them first, but also to warm up the entire legs, especially the knees, because I'm going to do some compound movements as well, exercises that I have not done yet before or not used to. So then warming up the entire legs is very important, because every single gym has slightly different exercises, like different leg presses, hack squats, etc. So to be able to do those correctly, a warm-up is very, very vital. And this is the first movement where I'll be doing an intensity technique. You have many different intensity techniques, and one of them is a rest pause set. I love incorporating this when I'm alone, because then you can simply rest for 10 to 15 seconds in between those sets, hit failure, do it again, hit failure, and then you hit one movement for 3 failure sets within what would have been one set. So that's much more efficient for sure. And when hitting, when you're done with the leg curls, it's time for some leg extensions. I honestly used to make the mistake of not doing leg extensions whenever I could. Leg extensions, guys, is the only exercise that allows you to fully contract and squeeze the quads. Just think about this: the back squat, the leg press, the hack squat, any Smith machine squat, doesn't really matter which one you do. When your leg is straight, that's when the tension is lost. And the exact opposite happens here with the leg extension. So also here, it is very important to use that full range of motion, go all the way down, feel that maximum stretch, because the stretch dictates the largeness, the amount of impulse that is being given from muscle growth. So without the stretch, you're not nearly going to experience the muscle growth you normally would. And then, of course, also go all the way up, especially with this movement, because this is a unique movement. It's one of the simpler ones. It's an isolation movement, but trust me, whenever you can hit this with full range of motion, just do it. And this is working set number 2. So usually working set number 1 is the heavier working set, and then the working set number 2 is a lighter working set. But with most exercises I'll be doing today, the second working set is, the first part is the failure with 12 to 15 reps. And then the second part is a rest pause set. So what I'm doing with the leg curls before, I'm doing here the exact same. So 10 to 15 seconds of a break in between those sets. And then I decided, wait a second, instead of hitting the same amount of weight, I'm going to use a lighter weight. So I'll do drop sets instead of rest pause sets. So this is another intensity technique. If you're able to easily switch around and drop the weight, then definitely also go for drop sets. But just remember, drop the weight enough so you're able to hit at least 5 more reps with full range of motion, because if you can't and you think about not want to waste a drop set, you're simply going to mess up your form just to be able to finish a drop set, because otherwise you might think it's wasted. So lower the weight enough in order for the muscle to experience maximum pump, maximum lactic acid buildup, maximum metabolic damage, and that is also what makes a muscle grow. And then it is time for the first compound movement. And I've learned, especially the last 16, 18 months, that full range of motion, and what I mean with that is actual full range of motion, is very important if you have weaker legs. So I used to go very, very heavy on the leg press and go only to 90 degrees or even a squat, no matter what compound movement. As long as my upper leg was parallel to the floor or 90 degrees, I was happy, because that's what everybody taught. That's what everybody was talking about, that's enough range of motion in order to hit the legs. But if you go deeper, what happens then? The stretch will be greater. And trust me, guys, it's about the stretch. It's not about the weight. So this being the first compound movement, we're just doing 2 simple working sets. And by the way, if you don't know what a working set is, it's simply a set to failure. So you have warm-up sets, which I'm not showing you guys, but I'm doing like 3 to 4 warm-ups, incrementing in weights, but lowering the reps every time that I up in weight, so I don't waste any power for working sets like this. And when I hit a working set, that's when I hit failure, and it's those sets that make the muscle grow. So the first working set usually a bit heavier, second working set a bit lighter, in order to keep hitting perfect form with enough reps for maximum muscular stimulus. And the next movement is a hack squat, but this hack squat is very different from what I'm used to. Normally my hands would be overhead, now my hands are next to my sides, and it just feels very different. I'm a little too tall for this hack squat, but still I was able to hit a nice range of motion going all the way down. And this is another example of hitting the fullest range of motion that you can, because normally I would stop at 90 degrees, but here you can literally see that I'm going deeper than 90 degrees until my calf and hamstring are squished together, physically not being able to go deeper. And what that causes is the quads to stretch more, the glutes to stretch more. So if you have small glutes, then you might want to do fuller range of motion and more of a stretch. If even you're doing glute isolation movements that are still not growing, it might be the compound movements that you're wasting the range of motion on. But also, what I was talking about at the beginning of this workout, the inner thighs, guys, the inner thighs will also grow with a very deep stretch, because the deeper the stretch is, the more muscles are involved and will be stretched and will be used in this movement. And that makes it a more complete bodybuilding movement for complete development, and that is what a compound movement is about. Using multiple muscles to move the maximum amount of weight for the maximum stimulus of that muscle group. So here once again, the first working set, nice and heavy, going all the way down, and trying not to go all the way up in rest, but sometimes my grip of my shoes was loosening on the platform, so I had to adjust a little bit, because as I said, I'm a bit too tall for this particular machine, so you have to work with what you got. And this is working set number 2 with, again, an intensity technique. And this time it's the rest pause sets again, so it's very easy. You go to failure on the first part of the working set, then you rest for 10 to 15 seconds at the top, go to failure again. It's only about 4 reps that I hit every time here, and then rest again, and then hit failure again. So 3 points of failure within one long set. And an intensity technique like this, you have to be careful not to overdo it and not to cause too much training fatigue, and that is a real thing. If you do this every single time, every single exercise, every single day, you might not be able to recover from this. And the only reason why I'm doing it right now is because I'm in the final stretch of prep and I want to get everything out of it I can. But trust me, when this prep is over, when the Olympia is over, I'm going to take a nice deload, or at least a D-volume, so only one working set, 4 to 5 exercises, making sure the volume is down in order for me to be able to recover from all the work that I do, because most people who do the most volume are actually the smallest, and that's, tells you already enough about the effectiveness of always doing so much volume. Now, this is a very nice leg press. It's a Cybex Leg Press, and I heard about that brand. I think Fuad Abiad in his podcast talks about Cybex, sometimes like a Cybex hack squat, feeling very nice. And this one just feels amazing. Just look at my legs going besides my body in a perfect alignment without my lower back or my stomach being in the way, for example, because on the hack squat, because my body was in a compromised position, the stomach tended to stick out a little bit because I was breathing in heavy. My back was arched because I had to in order to do the exercise correctly, and that puts your body in a weird position. And you want to do mostly exercises that put your body in the most natural, unstressful position, and only the muscle that you're working needs to feel the pain and needs to feel the discomfort. And here, that's exactly what is happening. So I'm going all the way down, like literally as far as I can, truly feeling those quads stretch and even the glutes stretch and even the inner thighs stretch. That is what you want to feel. And I'm also doing an intensity technique here. Again, a rest pause set, because it feels so good, you want to maximize this exercise. So for people starting out doing intensity techniques, what I would recommend is to only try them at first on an exercise you could easily do a paused set with, like this, but it also feels very good on a muscle that you get an excellent mind-muscle connection with, because then you can practice an intensity technique, see how far you can go, and trust me, it just feels very amazing going all out to failure and only feeling the muscle that you're working. So here I'm doing a finishing movement for the entire legs. I already did a one walking lunge set with 2 dumbbells, hit failure there. And now I'm just doing it with body weight, and there's quite a lot of steps I have to take to get to the other side of this gym here. So hit failure a couple of times, then rest a little bit, keep on walking until true failure is really hit, and I can't really do much more with those legs. And that's why it's a great finisher, because you just keep walking, minimal risk, minimal weight, minimal joint issues or anything like that, but you simply hit failure and after a while, and that's exactly what a finisher is all about. The donkey calf raise. I used to do this exercise back at Pure Fitness. That's the gym that I was training at when I was first making videos in 2016. So that's already 5 years ago. I trained there and they had a donkey calf race, but then with free weights, and I was able to do so much weight on there. It was unbelievable. And but this feels really good stretch, really good contraction at the top. So this is a straight-legged calf raise. And what I always tell you guys is that if you have weaker calves, always combine a straight leg calf raise with a seated calf raise. So that's what I'm about to do. So the second calf exercise is simply the seated calf raise. This is with free weights, and you can see if you look at my calves, I go all the way down and all the way up, and you can see the pump, you can see the mass, you can see the conditioning, and that is something you could have if you have the genetics, obviously, but also if you keep working on this consistently, because I've been training for 14 years, and probably 12 of those years I have hit the calves every single leg workout 2 exercises as heavy as I can. After a couple of years I stopped doing it as frequently, especially when I turned pro, because I wanted to focus more on the upper legs and not as much on the lower legs. But still, the calves are very much there, and I'm doing 2 exercises now to make it work even better. Alrighty, just got back home and this is my post-workout meal. No more cereal, guys. That's the meal that has been disappeared. So normally I would have this as a pre-workout shake, but now I'm having it as a post-workout meal, and an hour after this I'll have my real meal. Well, this is also a real meal, obviously, but it's a smaller, easy to digest meal, because this is only half a banana, 70 grams, 60 grams of cream of rice, and 40 grams of whey isolate, which you can see right here. So very easy to digest, and let's enjoy this. And we go straight to the next meal, some beautiful tuna steak. This is, by the way, about 45 minutes to an hour later. We have some rice, 50 grams of rice, but also a little bit of banana, because my new plan, it was 50 grams of rice, but because the cereal is gone, this meal actually had 70 grams of rice, as this is a post-workout meal. So I already prepared the 50 grams in a rice cooker, so what I did is add a little bit of banana to even out the macros, and that's more than enough. We have some zucchini, some cucumber, and that's it. So let's enjoy. Time for the next meal, and this is the protein source, 250 grams of chicken. What did we put with this chicken? We have some beautiful chicken, spicy blend for chicken, so just some herbs, really delicious. We also put in some cilantro and some oregano, which is very delicious for sure. Now, the vegetables will be cucumber and also broccoli, and we have here the 50 grams of rice, which is actually the last carb meal of the day. Also going to be putting some broccoli sprouts with this meal, just like 10 grams or so. And I've also prepped some zucchini, that's what it's called, zucchini or courgette, in the oven. So that's baking away right now, going to be very delicious. And prepping the food, in Dutch they have the saying, prep or preparation is half the job or half the work, because once you've prepped, it's very easy to just throw together and be consistent. Anyway, let's enjoy this meal. Time for the next. Oh, this lighting though, blue or white lighting, that looks pretty good. Anyway, time for the next meal, and actually I have 7 meals today. So normally the meal number 7, or one of the 7 meals, is a cereal, but now it's just one of the protein and vegetable meals. So let me show you what that is about. So here it is. Beautiful protein source, some scallops, which I sous vide cooked at home, vacuum sealed, froze it, took it with me, and I was thawed out. Beautiful. We have some cucumber, we have some of the zucchini I prepared in the oven, and some asparagus, and that's it. And you can obviously see the sauce. That's some salad dressing, and this is some teriyaki sauce, both 0-calorie sauces. So yeah, let's enjoy this one, guys. Alright, it's around 9 p.m. right now. After this I'll be doing cardio, but first the 6th meal of the day. After cardio I'll have one final meal. Let me show you what this one is. So just protein and vegetables. This is just asparagus, this is cucumber, and this, by the way, is just a slice of chicken baked in the pan. So it's like chicken bacon. It has no fat, just protein, but it adds a nice flavor. And here we have some codfish, so yeah, enjoyment. Finished. That's it. Alrighty guys, it is now time for the final meal of the day. You've already seen it, but let me show you what it is again. So this is the base of the meal. We're adding some vegetables like cucumber, a protein source, chicken. This is another part of the last meal, just an omelette with some vegetables in there as well. And the last ingredient is in here, is just going to be asparagus and a pumpkin basically. Alrighty guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna eat this meal, go straight to bed, get some rest. and check in every single morning with the coach. My weight has to drop, otherwise the diet will go down once again. And very exciting, guys. I'm living the absolute dream right now for the Mr. Olympia. Really excited to get on there. So thanks once again for the incredible support, guys. Check down the links in the description if you want to directly support me and help yourself at the same time as well with discount codes and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you once again for watching, and don't forget to stay